The drummer in my college band and longtime friend Jesse Barben.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's a pretty fun show, right? You having a good time? Cool. Well, my name is Jesse, and I want to start off with a happy announcement. My wife and I recently just had a little baby girl. Yeah, thank you. On purpose and everything is great. You ever tried to have a baby after steadfastly trying not to have a baby for your whole life? It's weird, man. But she was born via a cesarean section. Have you ever seen one of those? It's like a Saw movie, man. There's blood and guts. It's a very violent way to make people. And it got me thinking, these mothers go through all this pain and suffering. They don't even know if these kids are gonna be any good. Like, what if this kid comes out to park crooked and take up 2 spaces? What if this kid grows up to be a murderer or a Republican? Like, these moms, they're just rolling the dice hoping. And I had heard that newborn babies are disgusting, but I hadn't heard the specifics, right? But it turns out they're covered in bloody cream cheese when they come out. Did you know that? I went to a lot of doctor appointments with my wife. How hard would it have been for this doctor to just say to me, hey look, when this thing comes out, it's gonna look messed up. So they pull it out, all cheesy and screaming, and they hand it to you, and they don't even try to wipe it off that much. They just hand it to you, and and you're supposed to feel this great swell of love when you hold the baby, right? But all I could think when I held my baby for the first time was like, ew. And I looked at her, and she just looked like a red, wrinkled old man potato. And I was like, this is gonna be hard to love. I hope it gets better. And she's been out for a few weeks now, and my wife said, she's starting to get cute. And I was like, I wouldn't go that far. She gets most improved. So I'm not a good parent. You're probably picking up on this. I also have a 5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy, and I know what you're thinking is too many, and you are correct. It's kind of like if you're at the restaurant and you ordered something and it looked good on the menu, right? It was a good idea at the time and they bring it to you and it's just way too much food. Only in this situation you have to eat it for 18 years. So I make a lot of mistakes with them. The other night I was picking them up from school and daycare and everything, and I didn't want to cook when I got home, so I took them to McDonald's, right? And you're not supposed to feed that to people who are trying to grow. And even as we pulled into the drive-thru, they were like, do you even love us? And I ordered Happy Meals, which traditionally come with toys, right? But these Happy Meals came with books. And my kids proceeded to get upset. They're like, we hate books. And I was like, well, don't say that. Like, when we go home, I'll read them to you. It'll be fun. And they said, we hate reading. And I said, oh, no. My kids are dumb. I had always suspected because they're half mine, but this solidly confirms that they're dumb. And then I started getting mad. I was like, you know, if you're going to be so ungrateful and illiterate, I'm going to take back all these nuggets. All these nuggets are for me. I'm going to eat up all your nuggets. And I did. And we all 3 cried all the way home. So the 5-year-old is really mean to the 3-year-old. And the other night he told him, don't go to sleep because there's a monster under your bed, and when you go to sleep, he'll come out and eat you. And that's just innocent childhood stuff, right? But who's up in the middle of the night talking about monsters to a 3-year-old? That would be me. And I told him, I said, look under the bed, there's no monsters. There's no such thing as monsters, I promise. And he said, no, my brother told me that there's a monster, and I believe him. And I said, look, man, let me tell you something about your brother, man. We all hate that guy. Your mom hates him. I hate him. He's in kindergarten and he's not doing very well. He's not very smart. This is all false. I'm just character assassinating the 5-year-old to get the 3-year-old to go to sleep, and it totally worked because I told him how dumb the 5-year-old was, and he's like, oh, I get it, and he passed out. And I have no remorse about any of that. I feel nothing. I'm doing my best. you're supposed to teach kids like moral principles, right? So they grow up to be good people, and some people choose to teach their kids religious principles, right? And I'm just not good at any of that. We were at my father-in-law's house for Easter, and my father-in-law is very religious, so religious that it just stresses me out. And he was quizzing my kids on Easter. He said, okay, so on this day, who came to earth as the Son of God and died and then came back after 3 days? And my 3-year-old thought for a minute, and then he said, super confident, Harry Potter. So my father-in-law was not impressed. He's been not impressed though. Like if I married your daughter, you would be not impressed. So like, it's fair. I make a lot of mistakes, but on the whole, I'm just trying to be like a calm dad, like a chill dad. Do you know what I mean? Like I grew up with an angry dad. I don't know if anybody else had an angry dad. This is a guy who, he got married kind of young, and he had 2 or 3 kids before he realized like, oh wait, I hate this. And but he stuck around though, because he was a good guy, but he just really was not enjoying himself at all. The only time I think I ever saw my dad smile or laugh is when one of us kids got hurt doing something he told us not to do. He was like, I told you not to play over there. Now get in the car, I'm gonna drive you to the emergency room. So, and I used to be real critical of my dad and how he raised us kids, but then I had kids of my own, and I feel like I understand him now. Because as it turns out, I'm not that big into kids either, so like, I get it. So I grade him on the curve now. He's an A+ dad. Like, our relationship has never been better. But he did worry me when I got married, because I'm white, in case you were like on the fence, you weren't sure. But I'm a large, dumpy white guy, but I ended up married to a very small, pretty Hispanic woman. And it's cool to date somebody from another culture because you learn a bunch of things you didn't know before. Such as, I learned that my family is racist. I didn't know. Like when you're a little white kid, you're like, oh, it's good my family's not racist. But then again, I never really saw them around any minorities either. So what happened was we got engaged and we were telling people at a family function. And I heard my aunt ask my dad very pointedly, how do you feel about your son marrying a Mexican? And my dad said, well, we live in the state of New Mexico, because I'm from New Mexico, and there's a lot of Hispanic people here, and there's a certain statistical probability that he might end up married to one. And I thought, that's not an answer at all. What is the statistical probability that my dad is kind of racist? And so I was worried about my dad, right? And then I have a white grandma, you guys. Like, so white grandmas don't have a good track record as far as like race things go. They have a reputation for being racist, is what I'm saying, and it's well earned. Like, if you have a white grandma and a Hispanic girlfriend, your #1 priority is to make sure that they never interact. And I did a really good job of that the whole time. But on our wedding day, I was distracted talking to somebody. And my grandma wheeled up to my wife and beckoned to her to lean down because she was going to tell her something. And I couldn't stop it. And this is what she said to my wife. She said, thank you for marrying my grandson. I didn't think anybody ever would. He doesn't have a very good job, and he's not that good looking. And I don't know what you see with him, but thank you, though, for marrying him. So, not racist, right? That's good, but that's kind of hurtful. You can't just say things like that because you're old. Like, it's crazy. So anyway, you'll be unsurprised to know that me and her family have had problems too. So I went to meet them, and before we went in to meet them, she said, okay, let me prepare you. I need to tell you that my family hates white people. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you're mistaken. Doesn't everybody love white people? Like there's some kind of mix-up. And well, she's like, no, you gotta understand that every time something like hateful or ignorant has been said to them, it's come out of a dumb white face. And I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you have a dumb white face. So I went in and I met them, and they were they're nice. They accepted me, they've been kind to me, and I'm part of their family. It's kind of like a drug addict. Like we have a white son-in-law, but we don't want to talk about it. And but I know that it upset my father-in-law when I proposed to my wife, and she accepted. And I know it's because he took her aside and was like, a white guy? You're gonna do me like this? And my wife said, you know, there's a lot of white guys, there's a certain statistical probability that I might end up married to one. Alright, well thanks a lot. Thanks. Happy birthday, Shane.